And when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them and said, The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, or behold. The kingdom of God is within you.
The tabernacle of the Most High, the kingdom, tabernacle of the Most High is with men. Because the tabernacle of the Most High, that's like the temple of the Most High. That's the kingdom, right? It's with men, so that means we got the knowledge. So we already have the tabernacle of the Most High. We already got the kingdom. We already have it. Spiritually, we have it. But the physical part is going to come. The physical manifestation of it is going to come soon.
Well done, good servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
The kingdom of the Most High is within you. So you brothers, the ones of y'all, you sincere brothers, y'all heard what the scripture said. The kingdom of the Most High is within you. So we already got the kingdom. So the kingdom, it was given to us back in Matthew 25 when Yahushua came. The knowledge, this truth. That's why this knowledge is nothing to play with. Here it is, the Lord then blessed you with the kingdom already. It's within you.
To the glory of our golden age, may it shine forever.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hope elect out there pushing his word and truth. And it's sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what I want to get into, all right, with this lesson, dealing with, the devil at work, another installment of the devil at work. I found, this quick video dealing with, forever chemicals and everything, which is very, harmful, chemicals, that these devils, have spread throughout the earth. It's saturated, through the waters, through a lot of products, that people use daily. Okay. And this devil, he has wicked intentions with everything he does. Okay. We have to understand this is the wicked that the Bible speaks of. Okay. This is the wicked. You see, Esau Edom is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He's a wicked. All right. And he's the physical counterpart of Satan in the earth, man. Okay. And people still try to deal with this man like he has some type of compassion, like he has some type of care. All right. Like he has some type of ability, to be considerate. Nah, man. It's not in him, man. Okay. He is the wicked and he's going to do what the wicked does, man. Which is to always come up with new ways of wickedness, man. Okay, this all this man would do as long as he in power will come up with more ways to destroy, all right, the earth, people. Okay, because this man hates life. Okay, so when you go into the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Okay, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Okay, so an unwise king is Esau Edom. This is the king that's in power now. He's that unwise king, and it's going to be through the prudence of the kingdom of Yahushua. Okay, the city or the earth is going to be inhabited. Okay, in peace. Okay, the earth is going to abound. All right, right now the earth is under a state of continual oppression, man. Okay, that's why Scripture liken Esau to like a relentless tyrant. Okay, Lord we'll get that. Matter of fact, let's get there real quick, and we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. So let's get this real quick in the book of with Isaiah 14 and get in NLT. So you go to Isaiah chapter 14. All right, and the earth is being, ran by a wicked king, an unrighteous king, man. And this man gets off in the destruction of life. He gets off in defiling, things that are innocent. Okay, he gets off in destroying what is, what the Lord, set in order from the beginning. This how this man gets off, man. Okay, this is book of Isaiah chapter 14, and this is the destruction of America and ultimately the destruction of the Edomite global empire. Because America has been the throne of Edom's global empire, man. Okay, this American system. You see, this has been the facilitator of wickedness. It's been the facilitator, all right, of corruption. Okay, robbery, the stealing of resources. Okay, impoverishing nations through this, this petrodollar. Okay, through sanctions. You see? But this is the end of it. You see, that's why, prophecy, we talk about the gospel. Like the Christian church will speak about the gospel. Well, wait a minute. Well, the true gospel is found in the prophecy. Okay? When you go into the prophecy, that's the true good news, man, that this man has an end. That is written of his end. You see? That there's a judgment, all right, for the nation of Edom. That's the true gospel. That's a major part of the true gospel, man, which is written within prophecy, man. So there's no way you can have the gospel if you're not going into prophecy. You see? Isaiah 14:4 said, "You will taunt the king of Babylon. You will say, the mighty man has been destroyed. Yes, your insolence is ended." Okay? So this is the destruction. All right, this is the prophecy that speaks of the destruction of America. Okay? Which is going to be at the judgment of Yahweh Bashim al-Shai. He's going to send Yahweh Shai. Okay? Right along with those missiles to make America a lake of fire. These missiles and Yahweh Shai is going to turn America into a lake of fire. You see? Isaiah 14:5, for the Lord has crushed your wicked power. See that? This man's power described is wicked. You see, you can't describe Esau without using the word wicked. It can't be done. You have to use wicked. Okay, when you mention Esau. You see, it said, for the Lord has crushed your wicked power and broken your evil rule. You struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny. Okay, with unrelenting tyranny. Okay, so you look at how Esau Edom, has been moving in the earth. Okay, and you look at how this man, is constantly coming up with new ways to oppress, new ways to, put this in the food, put this in the air, put this in the makeup, whatever, man. Whatever he can think of, is he's always figuring out new ways, okay, to destroy and oppress. All this psychological warfare, man. People are bugged out. Okay, his peaceutical industry, man, got people jacked up. Okay, any way that you can think of. All right, this man goes all out to destroy. Okay, it says, you struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry, all right, gripped with unrelenting tyranny. Okay, with unrelenting tyranny, man. And this perfectly describes this man's kingdom as an unrelenting tyrant, man. Like, it's like, goddamn, you already got everything. Okay, the system already rigged in your favor, and it's like this nigga still trying to figure out ways to do more wickedness, man. You see, and it's getting to the point where the Lord is going to intervene. Okay, because the scriptures say no flesh will make it. All right, if this man were to remain in power, the food would be uneatable, the air would be unbreathable, the water would be undrinkable. Okay, this man would turn the planet Earth, you see, into a dump, man. Okay, if the Lord didn't intervene, you see. So let's get that, and then we'll segue to the video. It's the book of Matthew chapter 24. All right. This is Matthew 24 and 21. It says, "For there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began." Yeah, and that's the Lord judging the world. Okay, the people of the world, and you see Esau, Edom. You see, because Esau is going to be used as a tool of judgment, then he's going to be judged. Okay, and the Lord set up Esau over this age, all right, because the Lord wants to judge this age. Okay, see, the Lord got it set up perfectly, man, where he has the most wicked people in power with all this technology, because he wants, all right, a mass judgment of the world. Okay, and then he's going to judge, okay, Esau, Edom. You know, he's going to judge him even worse, because the destruction of America is just the beginning of the judgment of the elites. Okay, the destruction of their empire, the destruction of their New World Order agenda, their enterprise, they're just the beginning. You know, how Shah is going to come, all right, and blow your kingdom off the map. Okay, just wipe your kingdom off the table, man. You see, and set up a righteous kingdom. Okay, and you Edomites, you elites. Okay, you're going to be the first crop. Okay, of captivity, along with you surviving Edomites in these other countries, man, outside of America. All right, you're going into captivity with your elites. You see, and it says, and it will never be so great again. Yeah, this is, you know, this last tribulation that the earth has to go through, their last mass judgment that the earth is going to have to go through, man. You know, in the times we're coming into now. Verse 22, in fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen ones. Okay, but it will be shortened for the sake of the Most High's chosen ones. All right, which are the elect. You see, so the Lord is going to take the time short. He's getting ready to put a stop, okay, to Esau's authority in the earth, man. Okay, it's going to come a time when Esau will have absolutely no authority in the earth. Okay, he's going to be at the tail of slavery. You see, and the Lord didn't intervene, man. This man, all right, will make the earth unlivable, man. Okay, so let's go. I want to go into this video. Okay, let's go. Let's see. Yeah, let's go here. So we've been hearing about, you know, this Forever Chemical for a while, you know, but this is a pretty good video that goes into it. So let's play this, you know. Fair use, you know. Fair use, you know, not making any profit or monetary gains from this video for educational purposes only. Fair use.
We sat here and ate beef 3, 4, 5 days a week for, as far as I'm concerned, over a decade of contaminated beef. How much is in my system? How much is in my kids' system? Is it going to kill them in the, you know, before they get a life? It's hard to say.
There's something poisoning America's farms. A chemical that was built in a lab decades ago by companies who knew in private that it was highly toxic. Now that chemical is showing up almost everywhere.
It is a Pandora's box. It's going to blow up and out. It's in everything and it's in everyone, and there's nothing to clean it up and there's nothing to save you from it.
Toxic PFAS, also known as
Forever Chemicals.
PFAS are in so many consumer products. Non-stick pans,
Dental floss, computer chips.
shampoos, and conditioners.
Whether it's gone down the river and contaminated fresh drinking water for people, or if it's on farmland and you're eating it, it's out there.
We have a mass poisoning of our population.
Forever chemicals are linked to a number of serious health issues.
How can a company knowingly have contaminated the groundwater?
So, how did we get here? How did our farms become toxic waste sites? How did the Teflon in your nonstick pan become a full-blown public health crisis? And why has it taken so long for the government to take action?
They knew about the problem for decades.
And now they've got a chemical that can't be destroyed, it can't be cleaned up. If we don't get some real response real soon, we're all going to be in a real hell of a shit show mess.
Can you talk about how you guys name the cattle?
It's just it's a family thing. My kids name them, my wife names them, and it's just better than numbers.
Jason Grostic is a third-generation cattle farmer from Brighton, Michigan.
We started back in the early 1900s. Back then it was a dairy farm. My dad took over things in the 70s. We lost him to a farming accident in 95. And then in 97, we decided to get out of the dairy and get into beef. There you go, have fun. That business was booming. We were growing steadily every year. We had plans of our kids taking over and doing it. 3 generations, could have been 4. But as we look at it now with PFAS shutting us down in 2022, there's no growth here. There's no more family farming.
A few years ago, Jason got a call that he wasn't expecting from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development.
January 27th of 2022, got on a Zoom meeting with 4 people I'd never seen in my life. The head of MDARD, he starts apologizing, all sympathetic and this, that, and the other thing. And I finally said, what the hell are you talking about? You don't know? And I says, no, what? He says, well, we're serving you a seizure notice today. You're shut down. Nothing leaves the farm.
Without warning, the state of Michigan had shut down Jason's farm, declaring it contaminated and unusable. They cited high levels of so-called PFAS on the land.
This is the bucket of tags of all the animals we lost. Either they died because of it, or we dispatched them to save them their own pain and misery. It's been tough on my wife and kids. I was just a miserable bastard for 2 years, and they got the brunt of that shit show. I mean, they took away my livelihood. They basically bankrupted me. They told me I'd be back in business in no time. Here I am 3 years and a few months into it, and I don't have rights to farm. The government took all that away from me over something I didn't do. I didn't dump the chemical here.
Jason's farm was poisoned by PFAS chemicals that were buried within a type of fertilizer called biosolids. Every time you flush your toilet or do a load of laundry, that water goes to a wastewater treatment plant. And biosolids are the leftover byproduct of that process. For decades, the EPA has encouraged the use of biosolids as a cheap fertilizer.
I'm not the only one that took biosolids. The EPA said it's clean. State of Michigan said it was clean. And I'm on a small scale. Some of these farms are creating tens of thousands of gallons of milk a day. How many homeowners is that hitting?
It's estimated that as many as 20 million acres of farmland across the country could be contaminated with forever chemicals.
There's PFAS in West Virginia, New Mexico, Arizona, Wisconsin.
And boy, Billy, he telling on everybody. You know? But it's something how here it is, they'll shut these farmers down, which we know these corporations are at war, you know, with these local farmers. You know, these farmers, they are not on board with using, you know, their type of fertilizer, you know, without using, you know, their products. okay, that are not on board with these corporations. All right, so these corporations have been in war with these farmers. As the guy we listened to the other day, he said, well, about 80 years. You know, I believe he said about 80 years, man, these corporations have been in war with the farmers. Now, how crazy is this? Now, they'll shut these local farmers down, but the corporation that makes the PFAS itself are able to continue on as $1 billion corporation. They'll shut down these local farmers. They feed their family off their family farm. Okay. You know, they have these 3rd, 4th, 5th generation family farms that they hand down to their children. They shut these farmers down. Okay. But the corporation that makes the PFAS, okay, gets to go on and ride off in the sunset. How wicked of a society is this, man? You know, an unrighteous king, an unrighteous ruler, man. So let's play some more.
I mean, it's showing its face everywhere.
So how did this happen? How did Forever Chemicals end up in our waste? And who put the poison there in the first place?
There's something wrong with this cow. And they keep trying to tell me there's nothing wrong with these things. I can call the West Virginia State Veterinarian, Doc Thomas, and the only thing he asked me is, do you have a good attorney?
You know, and when Mr. Tennant first reached out to me and was concerned about his cattle, we thought, you know, this is going to be a fairly straightforward, quick, easy case. We had no idea that we would be dealing with PFAS or any of these completely unregulated man-made chemicals.
Rob Bilott started out as a corporate lawyer who specialized in defending large chemical companies from environmental lawsuits. But in 1998, he was approached by a farmer from Parkersburg, West Virginia, a man named Wilbur Tennant.
And this is what they expect a man's cows to drink on his own property.
Wilbur's cows had been acting deranged and dying off at an alarming rate.
There was a serious problem occurring on that property. There was something coming out of this landfill next to his property.
That landfill belonged to the largest employer in town, the chemical giant DuPont.
It took some battling in court to finally get DuPont ordered to start turning over their internal files. What I began to see there really kind of changed my entire perception of what I thought I knew about environmental law in the United States.
Those documents, 110,000 pages in total, contain private letters, health reports, and scientific studies. And Rob kept finding mention of one chemical in particular.
PFOA, perfluorooctanoic acid. We were dealing with a chemical that had been invented by the 3M company right around really the time of World War II. It was DuPont that was around the same time had invented its own new chemical called Teflon.
Food doesn't stick to Teflon like it does to other things.
Teflon was famous for its non-stick, waterproof properties. But to make Teflon at scale, DuPont needed the chemical that 3M was producing. So they started buying it in huge quantities, shipping it to what would become the largest Teflon plant in the world, right outside of Parkersburg.
They were concerned, though, by this unique chemical structure of PFOA, this 8 carbons attached to fluorine. The DuPont scientists realized that was a very strong chemical bond, something that probably wouldn't be able to be broken apart. The concern became at that point, well, what would happen to living things that might get exposed to this?
So by the early 60s, DuPont started running its own experiments on rats, rabbits, and eventually their own workers. And they kept finding a concerning pattern.
There was a wealth of information within both 3M and DuPont that this particular chemical was toxic, persistent, cancer-causing. Yet all of this information was essentially kept internal to the companies. And this information had been covered up. The public hadn't been told, the regulators hadn't been told, the scientific community hadn't been told.
Armed with all of this evidence, Rob was able to settle Wilbur Tennant's case in 2001. But by that point, he had already opened Pandora's box.
What we had seen in the internal DuPont documents was that the same chemical was also getting into the public drinking water of the entire surrounding community. about 70,000 people in that area. So we had filed a new lawsuit against DuPont, this time a class action on behalf of the entire community.
That lawsuit eventually yielded a settlement of $70 million. But DuPont still refused to acknowledge that their chemicals could have played any role in causing widespread health issues in Parkersburg. So the settlement was used to do something unique. The money went towards developing a massive health study conducted by an independent panel of scientists.
We got 69,000 people out of the 70,000 in that community who came forward and participated. Probably some of the biggest human health studies ever done on any chemical. And by 2013, they had confirmed that drinking PFOA in the water was linked with 6 different diseases: kidney cancer, testicular cancer, ulcerative colitis, thyroid disease, preeclampsia, and high cholesterol.
Today, there are dozens of companies that produce these chemicals, with more than 10,000 varieties of PFAS on the market. They can be found in the tap water of nearly half the country, in sewage sludge that's spread across our farms, and in the blood of more than 99% of Americans.
It's enough to make anybody want to throw their hands in the air and just walk away from it. You can't because it has real life, tangible health consequences.
Cindy Boyle lives with her husband on the outskirts of Marinette, Wisconsin. For years, without knowing it, they were drinking water that had been poisoned.
Tyco Johnson Controls, they manufacture AFFF firefighting foam, not very far from our home, and they open ground tested this firefighting foam for decades. Looking back at that, we just had a small family of 4, and my mom had kidney cancer as a young woman. My sister has thyroid disease. I have a full thyroidectomy. My dad had a brain tumor. He's got, prostate cancer, all kinds of health issues.
When she tested her blood, Cindy found that her PFAS levels were 5 times higher than the national average.
It really lit a fire under me that we unknowingly fed this to our children in their bottles. One night I was sitting in a parking lot on the phone with my sister. Sorry, it was very late, and I was venting to her, saying, "What do I do?" And she just called it like it was. And she said, "You're either going to fight this yourself with whoever will help, or you're going to leave this for your kids to deal with." And it sounds so trite, but that was the truth. And I hung up, and that's been the path ever since. We've met with all kinds of different people on this, and my plea has been, please legislate this. Because once you legislate it, now you must test for it. In many cases, when you test, you find. When you find, you must report. When you report to people that they've been drinking poison, a lot of them react the same way we are. They don't like it.
In states across the country, activists like Cindy have successfully fought to hold corporations accountable and to protect their communities from forever chemicals. But that progress is only a patchwork. Many states have no guardrails at all. And even the states with stronger protections are still leaving people behind.
With biosolids being applied to the soil the way they were, how am I the only one in the state of Michigan that's not allowed to farm? I don't know if there's a governor or a president that technically cares about the public. And they sure as hell don't care about one farmer in the state of Michigan.
It raises an important question.
Why have we not made more progress than one would expect?
Because the corruption is up top. Okay? The corruption begins up top with the elites. Okay? So there is no justice to be had because this is not a just kingdom. Okay? The corruption comes from all the way from the top, okay, of this kingdom, which are the elites. Okay? Which they make money off all these major corporations. They finance, all right, and they make money off all these corporations, and they want people poisoned because sick people need what? Treatments. Okay? And death is always a win for them. Okay? Death is always a win. You see? And then they send you to what? All right, these treatment buildings, all right, the pharmaceuticals. So that industry is always booming because everything is made to keep you sick. Okay, keep you in need of his pharmaceutical industry. Okay, this man capitalizes off death and sickness, man. You see? So yeah, these people, you know, which it makes sense, of course, to try to fight against this, but they have no idea of how deep this rabbit hole goes. Corruption. Okay, they're talking to people with no real power. You know, they get a little something here and there, a little victory here and there, but overall, the damage has been done. These things have been spread, and this is just one of many. Okay, this is different. This is separate from Monsanto and what they doing. Okay, the chemtrails. Okay, this is just one part of this man's wickedness, man. Okay, so let's play some more.
I think there are a lot of factors as to why so little progress has been made on this issue. One of them is that industry in this country is extremely powerful.
Kyla Bennett worked at the EPA for 10 years. Now she's helping farmers in Texas who are suing the EPA for failing to protect them from PFAS.
EPA was told by PFAS manufacturers in 1998 that there were probably dangers associated with these chemicals. And here we are decades later, and very little progress has been made on keeping people safe from these chemicals.
In the last 2 decades, hundreds of new PFAS compounds have been allowed to flood the market, and contamination from those chemicals has only continued to grow. Meanwhile, industry groups have spent tens of millions of dollars lobbying to block any PFAS legislation from making its way through Congress.
Industry lobbyists shape our laws. They have infiltrated Congress and our federal agencies like EPA.
But even with the outsized power of those corporate interests, progress was still possible.
Enough is enough. It's time that we prioritize the American people's health over profits of big polluters.
In April of 2024, Biden's EPA established the first ever federal limit on forever chemicals in drinking water. It was estimated that the new limits would reduce exposure for 100 million people nationwide.
And then, of course, there's the ever-changing political landscape, and that is more like this.
Under Trump, everything is up in the air.
The administrator, Lee Zeldin, when he was a representative, he seemed very concerned about PFAS.
When I was in the House, I was a member of the PFAS task force.
And in May, Lee Zeldin even released a PFAS action plan.
And if you read it quickly, it sounds like they want to take action. But if you read it carefully, you can see that they are actually going to be deregulating.
Later that month, the Trump administration announced they would be eliminating many of the Biden-era limits on PFAS in drinking water.
So what is Trump doing? He's deregulating. All right, and deregulation means that these corporations have even more, leeway to poison the masses, man. Because Trump is with it. Trump is with depopulation. He's with the technocracy. Okay, he's with all these things, man. Okay, he's with the destruction of small farmers, of local farming. Okay, he's with everything that the elites on. All right, Trump. Hey, Trump has been the biggest bust, all right, for you American Edomites who thought you was going to be great again. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Okay, that these elites are bringing the hammer down on you everyday Edomites, man. Okay, and ultimately, we know through the grace of Yahweh Shema Shah, we're still here. Okay, because they even go harder on Jake, man. There's no telling what's all in, the drinking waters in Jake neighborhood, man. Okay, PFAS plus, How this nigga get down, man. But yeah, let's play some more.
Citing the need for, quote, common sense flexibility. When you look at who's running the EPA, this approach starts to make a lot more sense.
Trump has appointed several people with a lot of industry experience and background into EPA.
So if you'd raise your right hand.
There's David Fatuhi, Deputy Administrator of the EPA, who once represented a company that had been accused of spreading 93,000 tons of PFAS-containing biosolids throughout Maine. Then there's Nancy Beck, who Trump nominated to be the head of the Consumer Product Safety Commission. She used to be a lobbyist for the American Chemistry Council, where she led the industry's charge against drinking water limits for PFAS. And then there's Lynn Decleva, who holds a senior role in the EPA. Before that, she worked for decades at none other than DuPont.
God damn. God damn. And this is what they do. They take these people from these corporations and they put them in these government bureaucracies that's supposed to be over-regulating the corporations. You see, it's all a small circle, okay, where everyone looks the other way, okay? And these devils just have, free range to do wickedness, man. This is a wicked kingdom, a wicked empire, man. Through and through is corrupt. Through and through, top to bottom, front to back, side to side is corrupt, man. Okay? And you dumb, stupid people still gonna go vote. Okay? You're still gonna talk about the Constitution, man. The Constitution is done, man. Okay? They done bypass the Constitution. They've been bypassed the Constitution, man. Okay? The Constitution gets, broken every second in this country, man. You see?
It's been really painful to see how decision-making can be influenced. There is a lot of profit around the use of these compounds. Consequently, there is a lot of effective interests. I keep coming back to the only solution, which is ultimately really, you need to cut the head off the snake.
And that's what Yahweh Shai is going to do. You see, hey, I'm glad she said that. All right, let's get some precepts. Okay, and that's the only solution. Cut the head off the serpent. You see, I don't know what she's talking about, but we know what the scripture's talking about. Okay, it's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 4 said the law has become paralyzed. It's in the NLT. Habakkuk 1 and 4 in the NLT said the law has become paralyzed and there is no justice in the courts. The wicked far outnumber the righteous, so that the justice have become so the justice has become perverted, man. You're not going to get any justice in the wicked kingdom. True justice is not going to go forth. Okay? The game is rigged for the wicked to win. Okay? And for the wicked not to be held accountable. Okay, so this is a society where the law, righteousness is become paralyzed, man. You see, and the wicked have, far outnumbered the righteous. So you people that still expect some type of justice from this society, okay, you out your goddamn mind. And they know you people are still going to participate in this little game they call a society and a democracy, regardless, man, no matter what they do. Okay, you're still gonna participate, okay, in this society, in this so-called democracy, man. Okay, now let's go there. And she said the only solution is to cut the head off the snake. All right, well, she's exactly right. Let's get this in Sirach. Jump down. Well, my family read a little bit. It said the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, man. And that's gonna be Yahweh Shai. I see the Lord has the earth in his power. He controls who rules and how long. Okay, and Esau has had his moment of power, and he's at his end. Okay, and he's gonna set one up that's profitable, Yahweh Shai, which is gonna rule forever. Okay, Jump down to verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. And this sums up this nigga's empire, man. This sums up Esau's rulership is unrighteousness, unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Okay? This is the sum of this man's empire, man. It said the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So the kingdom needs to be translated from the nation of Esau to the nation of Israel. That's what needs to happen. With Yahweh Shai at the head. That's the solution. Okay? Because going get you nowhere. This nigga, the more you go to court and try to sue and protest, the more privileges these corporations get, man. Okay? But what is Yahweh Shai coming to do? It says the physician cut it off a long disease. Yeah, he's going to cut the head out the snake. Okay? Esau's the dis-ease that's in the earth. He's going to completely remove this whole nation from power. Beginning with Amalek on down. And he that today is a king, tomorrow shall die. Okay? So Esau, he's in this power today because, like I say, what a difference a day makes. I always, quoting, the beloved brother Yom Yad, he made the point about what a difference a day makes, man. You see what a difference a day makes. So we're in the time, okay, that it's going to be one of these days, man. Esau's going to be in power in one day, and he's not going to be in power the next day, man. He's going to be cut off. All right? But let's go here. This is the main precept I wanted. I believe it's Sirach 36. All right, let's get Sirach chapter 36. And 7, it says, raise up in the nation and pour out wrath, take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. And this is a prayer of our forefathers. Okay, so our forefathers, they will pray in righteousness, man, and they will pray for the destruction of the enemy. You see, this is what you will call curse words, because this is a curse when you asking, a higher power. All right, when you asking, the Most High to do harm. You see, this is a curse. So our forefathers, they put curses on the heathens, man. Okay, because they were wicked, they were off. And that's why we in the spirit are putting curses on Esau today, and they're coming to pass, man. Because our curses align with what's already written in prophecy, man. The complete overthrow of Esau, Edom from power. Okay, captivity, and eventually, the extermination of Edomites. It said, raise up in the nation and pour out wrath, take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. Sake the time short. Hey, should sound like Matthew 24. Except those days be shortened. Sake the time short, man. Cut this nigga off, man. Stop this nigga in the midst of this madness, man. Okay, remember the covenant with Israel. Okay, and let them declare thy wonderful works. Okay, and this is what the prophets are doing, declaring the wonderful works of our power. What he's done, what he's doing, and what he's getting ready to do, man. Verse 9, let him that escape it be consumed by the rays of the fire, and let them perish that oppress the people. Esau, Edom. Let them perish, all right, that oppress the people, man. Verse 10, smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen, which is Esau, and the head of Esau, who Amalek, man. That's the head of the snake. That's the one that finances all the wickedness, okay, of these Edomites, man. Okay, it says smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none other but we. Because Esau, he thinks that he's to the point to where he's a God, that he's on a level with the Most High. To where he's above the correction of the Most High, the judgment of the Most High, man. Okay, but Yahweh Shai is going to be sent back to show him different. Okay, so yeah, this is another installment, the devil at work. Okay, forever chemicals and everything, man. You see, and when you I wonder. If you look at, let me see, real quick. Let's see what products. Let's see. Let's see. So let's look it up. I'm just looking at it. So I said, what products are forever chemicals in? Okay, it says forever chemicals, scientifically known as PFAS, all right, substances are widely found in consumer products designed to resist grease, water, stains, and heat because they feature, all right, an incredibly strong carbon fluorine bond. They do not break down easily in the environment or the human body. All right. The primary categories are going to cookware and kitchen items, non-stick frying pans and pots, baking tools, non-stick baking sheets, okay, small appliances, air fryer baskets, rice cookers, slow cookers, okay, food packaging, microwave popcorn bags, fast food packaging, takeout containers, paper plates, all right, molded fiber bowels, clothing and outdoor gear, waterproof apparel, stain-resistant clothing, outdoor, okay, equipment, tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, umbrellas, okay, school uniforms. Yeah, damn, cosmetic and personal care, long wear makeup, dental floss, okay, hygiene products. Let me see, waterproof mascara, liquid lipstick, foundations, concealers, okay, certain glide style dental flosses coated with Teflon-like chemicals for smoothness, unnecessary things, man. This shit, man, this nigga, man. Hygiene products, shampoo, shaving cream, sunscreen. Okay, so here it is. It's the sunscreen supposed to block the sun. All right, but it's putting cancer chemicals on your ass, man. All right, certain menstrual underwear and tampons. God damn. Textile and home. All right, carpets and rugs. Okay, furniture, upholstery, stain-proof couch fabrics, cleaning products, carpet cleaners, floor waxes, polishes, home improvement paints, varnishes, sealants, caulks. God damn. You know? Yeah, man. Hey, we gotta get this nigga out of here, man. There's the only solution to get this nigga out of here, man. The only thing that makes sense is removing Esau from power, man. You know, like the Wali Hawba Shema was shot for prophecy, man. Now, this man being completely removed from power, man, and the earth being cleansed, okay, through fire and war, man. Okay. So, Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful Shalom.